Welcome back, race fans, to another exciting night of Thursday night Hour of Power here on the RGT app. My name is Andrew Paradowski, and I'll be your host for this evening. Hopefully everybody is excited and ready to race. And without further ado, let me take this moment to introduce once again my co-host for tonight, Tanya Dubnikov. Tanya, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great, Andrew. Sorry for the windmill in the back. I have Tara Whitten warming up for the race, so I'm going to get a real bird's eye view of what's going on, and you'll hear it.
Yeah, well, that's part of the whole racing experience for sure, especially when we're doing this indoors with trainers and windmill type sounds coming out of that. But we've got about 5 minutes left to go before we start our first race of the night, and of course that is the scratch race. We have 4 races coming up tonight as part of the Omnium circuit here tonight. Scratch races being the standard staple of track racing. Can you tell us a bit about the first race coming up?
Yes, so this is the first time we've raced this course. It's the Suzuki course, and it's a 5.8 kilometer course. It's one lap. It has a little bit of a downhill, and so it'll be interesting to see what speeds the athletes get up to. And yeah, just looking forward to see how the pack can stay together and then how it gets broken away in the last 1 or 2 kilometers of the race.
Yeah, and it certainly will be interesting to watch, because this is one large field as opposed to, let's say, separate categories on the track like we normally see riders of groups of 24, 36, depending on the track size. So we are going to see some separation, that's for sure. But last time we had this going about 3 weeks ago, there certainly were sort of significant packs together. So I think we're in for some exciting racing tonight. Like we said, there are 4 races coming up. We've got our scratch race. Then we're doing something new for tonight. That's the Kirin. I'll let you explain that in a little bit. And then we've also got our famous 4UP time trial. So that's going to be an exciting moment, especially for us broadcasting, because it's not the easiest thing to show live. And then, of course, we're finishing with my favorite event on the track, the elimination race, the race of truth, of course. If you can't get in front of that last wheel, then you're out of the race. So an excellent group of 4 races tonight. Let's take a look at what is coming up on the course right now. We've got our scratch race. And they are lined up, as you can see, on the field right now. We're looking at the start line, and our riders are raring and ready to go. You can see on the clock on the right, 3 minutes to go. So if you haven't registered for the race, be sure to do so now and jump in there. You don't have much time left. And don't forget, after you finish every race tonight, if you're watching the live stream, that you have to end your ride and then make sure you go to the next ride, as there isn't a heck of a lot of time in between those races. And before we also get going, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who is at home watching right now. Feel free to send the link around here from the YouTube channel here and join in with the racing here. We've already got a few people on the live chat now. It's my favorite guests. It's Boopy and Graham, giving a shout out to Annabelle in Calgary. Boopy and Graham, I believe, are from Ottawa. Yes, that's right. They've got the popcorn all ready and are waiting to watch some exciting racing tonight. So thanks for joining us, Boopy and Graham. Tanya, any last words before we get going in about 2 minutes?
No, this is going to be an exciting race. There's some chat going on in the sidebar, so apologize if my head gets down. I'm just, trying to make sure everybody that's entered the event. We had 40-something odd riders register for the event, and I can see 34 on the start line. We have a couple of young athletes here. There's a couple of young athletes that I know from Calgary, some 13-year-olds. So we have William Lemieux in this event, and as well as Cole Merritt. So we have a couple of young guys from Calgary that are so excited to duke it out with the older ones. So because of their uniqueness to racing and their skill level, they can tuck in many drafts, and that lends well to RGT. So really looking forward to see how they go. As we know, there's a lot of great athletes in this event from Ontario, from Calgary, from Edmonton. So I know that Manitoba couldn't make it today, but that's okay. Jason chose to ride outside in the nice weather with the lockdown restrictions being lifted in Manitoba. So that's great. They'll be back next week. So really looking forward to see how everybody does in this event.
Yeah, of course, it's always sad to see some riders who were there before that aren't able to make it out. But of course, you're right. When the weather gets better, and in this pandemic, if we're allowed to be outside, certainly everyone's going to take that opportunity. But that doesn't mean you still can't have fun indoors while the weather's still a little bit too cool for most. So yeah, it's going to be a great night tonight. Bigger numbers than we had previous week. Spread the word if you know anybody who likes track racing. This is a unique format that is certainly something I haven't seen on the other platforms. I don't know if they can do them or not, but it does really appeal to those who are missing riding in the track, especially if you've got tracks like you do in Alberta and Ontario and BC. So if you know track riders, tell them to come out next Thursday. We're doing this 3 weeks in a row. It's going to be a lot of fun. 20 seconds to go before we start. So if you are on the live stream and you are also racing, you better get those engines going. Start spinning up that wattage because it is a quick start off the go. And we're starting in just about 5 seconds now. Everybody ready? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. And they're off. Now I've got to figure out how to find the next rider here. There we go.
Looks like we have Turcotte up the front. We got Alex Volstead. A couple other riders in the mix. Kinneberg in top 4.
Yeah, and everybody is together. There's a nice large group here at the front. Let's take a look behind to see what it looks like. Yeah, there's already a bit of detaching happening off the back there. Some riders are certainly losing this pack. It is a quick start, and with just under 6 kilometers, it's certainly going to be fast right from the start all the way to the end. Jay Macheko looks like is leading out there. A lot of riders switching around. One of the interesting things I find about RGT, or actually any of these, Tanya, is that it tries to mimic a real-life racing a lot, but I find that some of the switching around doesn't match the sort of the normal flow that you see. You know, if you're watching track or you're watching the road, they tend to sort of hold on to positions for at least a lap, but here it just seems like they're really, really flowing around. Lambert off the front, putting his nose into the wind, getting past now in second place. No label there on our front rider. Let's see if I can pull up some of our race data to find out who we are looking at here. There we go. It's M. Turcotte in the front, putting out 7.2 watts. Looking to do a small little breakaway. Turcotte on the move right now, almost 20 meters on Lambert and Rusinek, do 4 and 4th. Tara Witten holding a strong 5th, putting out 6.5 watts. Very, very impressive. And afterwards, we've got Kinneberg, Castengay, Moni, Schwinn, and Schnipke rounding out our top 10 right now. Rusinek now in front, joining Turcotte. So we've got a 2-rider breakaway, about 30 meters off the front right now. A lot of power in that group. I wonder if they'll be able to hold it for the remainder of the course.
Andrew, I think what we saw here is that little bit of a 8% climb really broke the pack up. A couple of people took advantage of it, and again, it looked like it broke the pack up. People are coming back. You can see Alex is coming back. Annie Scott from Edmonton's coming back. You can just see them climbing and bridging. The hill will be over shortly. They're now like at -2, so there's a little bit of a descent. Now they're picking up the speed, and then you can see as it finishes off, there's a little bit more elevation near the end. So we'll see who has the power at the end of this with 4K to go.
Yeah, it's almost like a hill climb time trial, Mastart hill climb time trial in that respect for sure. The power is certainly going to go on the side of those who are able to climb really well. And with the physics of these games, of course, favors the lighter riders over the heavier ones. So you certainly need to put out the wattage to stay in the front, that's for sure. Joining with our folks out there in the live stream world, we have another comment on the live chat. Titus Chan says that their money is on Titus. So
nice.
It's a good. It's always good to be self-promoting.
That's right.
Always.
And someone else in the chat asked if there was any power-ups. Unfortunately, there's no power-ups in this series, so you're going to have to use just your legs.
Yeah. That's a really neat trick, the power-ups, and the fact that they're allowing that in some of the professional esports racing is interesting. It does add a different dynamic to the race. I even know some of our local riders here who are pretty serious about their Zwifting and esporting, that they've purchased these like Bluetooth button mounts for their bikes. They put on the handlebar so that they can hit the power up on their bike and not have somebody sitting next to them with the laptop. So we're about halfway through. Yep.
I had no idea that existed. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, I remember hearing stories. Some of the racers that went to, I guess it was I can't remember if it was the World Championship or some other international event. but they'd won the race because they had somebody there and they were ready to hit the button and go, okay, give me the power up now, and they got that burst of speed right at the end for the finish kind of thing. So some people like it, some people don't, but it certainly does mix things up a bit. Looking at our rider list right now, Calling, Rusinek, Lambert, Castengay, Turcotte in our top 5, and they're joined by about 3 other riders, I guess. So there's 8 riders that are riding in a group right now, and they have about 50 meters on Schwinn and Stag, and then there's about a quarter kilometer. So this group of 8 here is likely to be our sort of top finishing group. 2.5K left to go. They're coming up right now to this sort of like final big punchy part of the climb, the 2% grade, a bit of a downhill into the finish. So I think this is going to be the sprinters game here. I'm not too familiar with these riders. Can you say anyone here is a sprinter in this group?
I just see 7th to the results that I see is 7th and more, so I don't really see the top 6. I do see that I think these hills have hit the athletes a little bit more than anticipated. So if they're a sprinter, they're lucky to be there. I think a lot of the sprinters are still a little bit at the back, that those 4 little climbs took the legs out of them. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, the next event's going to be short, and that hill climb is really going to put a lot of punch in everybody's legs today. But this is a great opener, and we're almost there. A few K to go, so the athletes are going to get a great warm-up for the rest of the show.
Taking a look behind here to see what the gap looks like. There we go. There's quite a big gap now between our lead group and our chase of 2. And like I said, there's about 200 meters separating 8th and 9th position. It's a fairly large gap to have to make up in 1,500 meters. Looks like Rusinek is putting the hammer down right now, coming in, putting his nose into the wind, putting a little bit of distance on the group. Turcotte responds and is trying to get on Rusinek's wheel. Looks like Castengay is looking to settle in a little bit. Lambert taking the reins there, coming up behind Rusinek. All back together. Turcotte, Rusinek, Lambert are in the mix again. Lambert off the front now, putting out quite a bit of power. Coming up to the Flamme Rouge now, 1K to go. Holding about 40 kilometers an hour on this slope. Still pretty impressive. Group of 6 back together. And it looks like 7th and 8th have now fallen off the back. So it is now a race of 6 riders in the front. What do you see back there?
Well, I see Tara's working really hard here. I can hear. I see Dufour, Moni calling. Shipke is making a move in 11th place. And we have Annie Scott and we have Alex Volstead that are bringing up the back end of the race right here.
Yep, I just pulled up Tara on screen now, right behind Schnipke there. Just checking back to see if I can find a nice quick group of riders. Yeah, it's really all spread out. It's just 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 for those folks at home watching along. So let me just flip back up to the front and check out this final sprint. Less than 500 meters to go. Riders are already out of the saddle. Let's take the third-person view here and see who's going to take it. 300 meters. Kinneberg out of the saddle. Dufour on the left. Oh, look at that power. 15 watts per kilogram. Impressive. This might be all over, folks. 100 meters to go, and Dufour is just hammering. Castengay trying to respond, but I don't think he has it. Oh, it's so close. It's close. It looks like it's going to be Lambert. Oh, Lambert just came in right at the end there. Lambert, Dufour, Castengay, Kinneberg, Rusinek, Turcotte. What a fantastic sprint. That was all about the timing that was taken. If you just launch it at the right time or the wrong time, it's a matter of, centimeters sometimes. And I think if we had a photo finish on that, it would have been wheel to wheel.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Anyone that can launch 15 watts per kg in an event like this. And here we have, I can see Tara is racing against Shimke for 11th place, 10th place. I don't know if this guy knows who's he's up against, but here it is. They're coasting. Here it is. All the finish. He pulled it out at the end and just got her at the wheel. Oh, got her at the end. Awesome, everyone. Fantastic races right to the end. 9 minutes worth of work. Not a lot of time to head over to the next event. 6:20 is our next event. Very impressive riding by everyone.
Absolutely. And I think you're right about that hill climb. It's certainly going to have an effect on how the Kirin works. So we're going to take a moment here and go to our standby page while we switch on over to the next race. So don't forget, everyone, if you're listening in, to sign out of this race, make sure you end the ride and join up race number 2. And when we come back, Tanya Dubnikov will explain how the Kirin works. All right, we're back and we're ready to go with race number 2 here at the Thursday Night Hour Power. Super excited about this one. This is the Kirin, the mass start 1,500 meter Kirin. Tanya, let the folks at home know how this is going to work.
Well, here's the thing, is that the beauty of RGT is that we have the liberty to make some changes, as we've seen in the elimination race. And so they have bots or avatars that you can program in this race. So what I've done is I've programmed one bot to ride at 340 to 360 watts for the event. And so everybody has to stay behind this one bot until the last lap. So this event is only 3 laps, and so no one should be able to pass the bot. That's the tricky part, trying to communicate the instructions to the athletes that are on the start line. And so hopefully everyone gets that message. Our bot's name is Jan. I can see her, she's getting ready right now. She's in the pen area. And so she's been programmed to ride at, like I said, 340 to 360 watts. And then everyone has to stay behind. And so that's the beauty of this, is that riders will be able to feel the draft. And then once they've completed the second lap, they can sprint for 500 meters for the finish. So this will be a challenging to see, Andrew, for you to call. So that's, why should it only be challenging for athletes? It should be challenging for us as well, right? To call these things and make it fun and exciting. So we'll see how it goes. Ideally, we would, at some point, we'd like to have Kirins where people sign up per an event and win in advance and things like that. It takes a little bit more planning, but this is the first experiment for the Kirin.
Yeah, it would certainly be interesting to see how this works out. And obviously this is an honor system right now, and I did try to get a bell to ring for the audience at home, although I wasn't able to get one for tonight. But maybe we'll do that in the future coming races. However, it wouldn't matter for the riders on the track, because this live stream is likely 10 to 15 seconds behind the actual race, so they'd be hearing a bell while they're already sprinting or passing the Derny, as it were. So maybe in the future RGT will be able to do some functioning in there, where that if they figured out that the rider has gone in front of the Derny, then they get whatever relegated or whatever setting is there. So nice big field lining up right now, and it looks like it's about 5 minutes to go before we start our introduction to Kirin Racing here on RGT. So let's go back and take a look at the field right now. Looking pretty solid right now. I'd be pretty scared to try to do a Kirin on the track with this many riders.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just what we're going to get. I mean, I have a feeling that a lot of people will be in front of the riders, and so I'll just make sure I sort of hit refresh with my message on the riders to make sure that they stay behind.
Right. So for those of you who are joining us on the live stream and racing at the same time, try to stay behind Jan until the final lap of the race. So this is the 500-meter circuit, is that correct?
Yes,
that's right.
3 laps.
3 laps. So be sure to stay behind, and then when it comes to 1 to go, that's when you launch. And this will be an all-out sprint, so we'll have to make sure we are following the race as closely as we can for this one. So I hear that we have a new sponsor involved in the race this week. As those of you who've been watching, you can see our banners below. We've got a new bike shop in town. Can you tell us a bit about them this week?
Yes, we have BowCycle. They're probably one of the oldest and most successful bike shops in Canada. I reached out to them to say, hey, we're having this event, and they donated some prizes. So we will have some prizes for the Omnium rider, and as well as the Sprint Omnium rider. So whoever races all 3 races and has the highest or lowest number of points over all 3 will get a nice prize from them. I had a list of the prizes in my preparation here. I left the paper on the printer, so I apologize for that. And then we'll be doing a couple of draw prizes today for athletes. Maybe we'll so we'll have a draw, and we'll pick a prize for someone today for showing up, and we know that it's not easy showing up for races, and some people are training and they don't have time in their schedule to do intensity. Some people are racing all the time, and this is one of the things that they do, and so we really appreciate that people make the time to show up and race and have fun, because we know that there's no real racing going on at the moment, and so this is the sort of second best thing that we can do. So we're happy that people show up and compete against one another.
Absolutely. So yeah, big shout out to BowCycle for joining the team here, as well as all of our current sponsors, yourself, Tanya, the iRide group, and I believe the orthopedic group that has joined us. I've forgotten the name. I apologize.
They're asking me how many laps behind the bot.
2 laps. Two minutes to go before we start. Everyone at home watching along, and let's check in with those people who are on the stream with us today. Oh, and it looks like we've got a few more comments here. Hillary Buckley is saying, go Caden. I think that was from the previous race. For those of you watching, I have posted the race results on the YouTube live stream. There's a link there to rgtdb.com. As well, I'll try to have the top 10 of the previous race up in between the switch to other races, so you can check out the top 10 there, as well as the full results on the link that I posted on the YouTube stream. We've also got Rob Stagg with us, giving big shout outs to William, Cole, Aaron, and Caden, saying way to go, and also Brent Tolpico as well. Ken Thomas is joining us now, saying good luck to all the ladies. Have a great race. I'm sure they will. 90 seconds to go before we start. Any last tips that you have for the riders who are listening in on this stream for this race, Tanya?
It's interesting, just being able to communicate people. As you know, being a commissaire, you can give instructions on the line, you can communicate, vocal communication, but this is different. This is different for everybody. No one's done this. So I'm getting texts. So what happens if someone's DQ'd? And it's like, well, just don't get yourself DQ'd. Stay behind the bot. And how many laps is it again? And so it's really going to be exciting to see the mass of riders behind Jan, our bot. And also maybe Jan might like sprint out of the start, and people will have to accelerate off to catch up, and then there'll be some sort of backpedaling as we will see. So really looking forward to see how this goes. So hopefully the riders stay together, and then there's one mass sprint with a lap to go, and then someone, maybe an Alec Ungaria who can hang on and has that extra little sprint at the end, the bionic legs as he has. So we'll see what happens on the last lap.
Absolutely. It sounds like it's going to take a little bit of finesse to make this happen. All right, everyone who is joining us in on their bikes at home, you have 15 seconds. You better get those legs spinning up, but maybe not too quickly because you don't want to pass Jan. 10 seconds to go. Everyone should be spinning up right now. And we're off.
Caden, gotta slow down, Caden. Caden didn't read the memo. Where's Jan?
Where's Jan?
Where's Jan? Stay behind Jan.
I think that's Jan there in the front. Oh, there's Jan. There we go. Jan is now in front.
Hey.
And we've got Lambert, and it's a little tricky. Everyone is trying to keep their power up. All right, everybody, try to stay behind Jan.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Jan's back in front.
Jan's in front. Okay. I see. Okay, someone. Is Jan in the yellow?
Jan is in the yellow, in fourth position right now.
Okay.
So everyone seems to be doing fairly well. I mean,
really good, guys. Really good. Really good.
With the response of some of this stuff, it's a little tough to always stay behind, but I think they're doing a great job.
We're getting close to our second lap.
200 meters to go to the bell, or to losing the Derny.
Okay. Well, she might sprint. Who knows?
Everyone is. We got about 8 or 9 riders. Not too bad for the first attempt.
This is it.
There we go, and the Derny is off the track. Ongaro.
I told you, he was going for it. He is going for it. Yeah, he's got 2 bionic hips. Oh, who comes up second? This is coming up. Oh, nice work. Fantastic.
Ongaro might have gone too early. Lambert. Let's see if we can get that riders list up.
There we go. Oh,
100 meters.
Who's coming around? Who's coming around? Here it is. Here it is for the last sprint. Fantastic. Holy. Awesome work.
A big bunch finish there.
Good job.
We'll see if we can get the...
We have Lambert, Kinneberg, Brennan, Witten, Loro, Moni, Reed, and Topilco, and Calling is our top 9. I think that worked out quite well.
It did.
It's a good thing I didn't put money on Alex, but I mean, he did make the move. He did call the move.
Yep. I don't have first place. Who took first in that? Was
Lambert?
It was Lambert. Okay, I can see on my screen.
Lambert.
Because he's already signed out. Yeah, Kinneberg, Brennan, Witten. Oh, everybody's signing out. They're quick. That's great.
Yeah.
Everybody is listening and paying attention to this whole thing, which is awesome. So that was pretty quick. If you blinked, you missed it. We've got 2 races down and 2 races to go. So a reminder to everybody, if you were in the last race, be sure to end the race and then go on to the next one, which is our 4-up time trial. Riders will be going off in groups of 4, and that is starting shortly at 6:30, so you have about 7 minutes to go. We're going to sign off again once more, try to put up those top 10 results for you on the screen, and then get the link to you in the chat shortly thereafter. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right, folks, we're back here. Race number 3 coming up. This is the 4UP time trial that is just under 1 kilometer, and it's a bit of a hill climb. So this one is riders will be going off in groups of 4, and that's all based on how everybody registered for the event. My clock right now shows about 7.5 minutes, but that's because I am not the first rider going off. The first group will be going off in just under 5 minutes, so we're going to have to take a close look at that on the screen and follow along. Last time we had a little bit of trouble showing this to the folks at home, so we'll do our best to see if we can follow at least some of the groups around like we did last time, and hopefully give you an exciting show. Tanya, any lessons from the last time we did this for the riders at home?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did is, or was it the sprint lap? That's what was the challenging, and they were going off every 15 seconds. And so every time they came around, another group would be starting. So with this one, we changed, it's a different course, and it's a 1.2 uphill climb. So it becomes a bit challenging, but we have a 30-second gap. And so we should be able to piggyback in between to see someone in each heat going up the climb. So it'll be hard. I can imagine everybody's legs are burning. There's not really a lot of break, and the requirement of today's event is mostly power-based stuff. So they should be off, right at 6:30, and so my time says 4 minutes to go. I can see Tara's clock says she's got 3.5 minutes, so everyone's going to be sort of a staggered start. Yep. So hopefully we can catch many of the groups as we can.
I think our first group off will be going in just a little over 2 minutes if my clock is right, and RGT is synced with that. So why don't we take this moment and head on over to RGT and check out the field lining up at the start line. Here we go. We've got a nice looking group out there. Everybody's on their bikes ready to go. You can see there's a yellow sort of finish arch down the field. I don't know if that is the finish line or not, but it would make sense that that's our finish line. It's only 1 kilometer. I think you said 1.2, but if you look up on the top corner of the screen, it says 967 meters. So there might be a small discrepancy there. I don't know what that is in particular, but because it's such a short race, just go. You talk.
I think the winner of this event was Reed Kinnenberg, and I think he did it just over 2 minutes last time. And this course is the same course that's in the Tour of Bonesse. And last year, I think, would have been the 20th year of the Tour of Bonesse, I think, or is it this year? I'm not quite sure. So this event has been going on for a long time, and everybody loves this hill climb because they do it as a match sprint, and so that's what gave me the idea of doing a 4UP. But the draft is off on this, so you can't really draft anyone. So it's an uphill time trial, and you just got to go. You got to pace yourself. We're looking at pacing for a little over 2 minutes, and to see how much you have left in the legs.
Well, looking at our clock right now, it's just a little under a minute until 8:30, the official start time of the 4UP time trial, which means our first group of 4 will be off in just a little over half a minute. So we'll try to see if we can capture that. And because this isn't a lap race, it might actually be a bit easier to show for those at home watching. So hopefully we'll be able to give you some solid coverage of event number 3 within this Omnium tournament. 20 seconds to go for that first group. And those 4 riders know that it's their time to go because they have a clock in the bottom corner of the screen, just like we can see here, but it probably says 10 seconds to go right now. So let's keep a keen eye on that screen and watch our first group go off. Here we go. And they're off. Here we go. So it's Moni, Turcotte, Valencia. 3 riders.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, it looks like Valencia, Turcotte, and Moni in that order on the track right now. 800 meters to go, and the slope is starting to kick up a little bit, 2% right now, and they are almost at that big kicker that's going to drop that percentage. You can see him slowing down. The avatar leg speed is starting to drop.
Our next group of 4 are off.
Let's see if we can move back and check that out. That's Lambert, Scott,
Annie Scott, and Lambert.
Schnipke, and Mahechka. And it looks like it was Turcotte, Moni, and then Valencia in our first group. That was the yellow. So the yellow is a halfway point. Okay, very good. Now I understand what's going on here. 7.5 degrees. 400 meters to go. Turcotte in the front in that group. Lambert got a nice gap on Scott. Maybe 10 meters right now. 20 meters on Schnipke. They both have just crossed the yellow marker, which I guess is the halfway point. Let's see what other groups we've got going on here.
We have Tara Whitten just started with Annabelle Thomas and Alex Volstead and Brennan.
Yep, we've got them on screen right now.
Yeah, so Tara's on the front here, producing 5-6 watts per kg. Just
Thomas.
about to hit the hill.
Thomas out of the saddle, trying to hold on to that impressive power that Tara's putting out, 5.3 watts per kilogram. You're going to need it to get up this hill, as the slope now is going up to 9 degrees. That's a crazy hill. It doesn't appear that way in this graphics,
No.
and I've never seen TV have fully be able to replicate the true incline of a hill. It almost looks like a false flat from our perspective, but they are certainly grinding it out. At 9%, I'd be falling over sideways.
Yeah, there's Brennan's 9 meters back. Alex Volstead's 20 meters back. Annabelle is just a little bit back there. You can see them fighting it over. Tara's approaching someone else from maybe another group that's sort of saving their legs for the elimination.
Yep.
They reached some gravel at the top, which is interesting. You just keep going to the finish line.
Let's see, moving down, next group on track behind the one that we're discussing now. It's Schwinn, Lauro, Sophie Bradbury, and Kay Calling in a group, and they are all pretty well spread out. Looks like Schwinn is in the lead by almost 100 meters now, and Lauro is Laura's with Bradbury, and Calling is a few meters back. So certainly this hill is splitting everybody up. Next group on the track, I think, is Nicole Bradbury, C. Merritt, E. Young, and I think it might just be those three, or they're with the Calling group. It would be neat if RGT could actually let us know who was in different start groups somehow, in some respect, certainly for the broadcast. But we work with what we have here. Next group on the track is probably...
So I see Ungaro Topilco that just went, and then the last group we got Kinnenberg, Chris Reed, which will be great, and watch Aaron Stagg. Is that it?
Looks like it, and me apparently.
And you, yes.
Yes. I'm going to avoid putting on the 1,000-watt filter on this one, so I won't embarrass the guys. But Reed is doing an impressive showing right now. He's got a few meters on Kinnenberg. And it looks like he's wearing the USA Cycling jersey. Bold choice there, Cotton. And Kinnenberg is holding on. He's still got about 10 meters, but they have left Watchman and Stagg in the dust. And, of course, myself, who's doing very poorly in this 4-hour time trial.
So we have one rider that's under 2 minutes, and that's Maxime Turcotte, did 1:56. So that's, I think, the fastest time we've seen up this hill so far. We have Schwinn at 2:01. We have Lambert at 2:03. Caden Calling at 2:08. And Moni at 2:16. And Tara Whitten at 2:18. Annie Scott 2:18. Nicole Bradbury at 2:18. And then now, let's see, some more. Dufour 2:02.
Yeah,
wow,
some good numbers, sir.
As
I'm looking at our last group right now.
We've
got Watchman, Rusinek, Giraldo, and Vasilenko. And our last group, I believe, because it's just us now at the back. So that is that's the race. Moving forward, let's see if I can catch any finishes there. We're just passing Chris Reed right now. Chris Reed out of the saddle, putting out almost 5 watts per kilogram there. But it looks like he was dropped by Kinnenberg quite a while ago, but 170 meters there. So that's what happens when you get older. The young kids just they just leave you behind. There we go, and here's another finish.
I think I can't see the results, but I think maybe Reed might have gotten it. Let's see here. We'll refresh the computer. Yeah, Kinneberg 150.2. Holy, very impressive.
Nice.
So 150.2, 156.9 from Turcotte, Schwinn 201, Dufour in there, Caden Calling, and then everyone else sort of follows in there. Fantastic results. You can see over time that, you know, knowing the course, you can definitely make some changes. And it's very helpful to know the course to continue going quick on it.
Sure. I don't know if they were in the same group, but Topilco just came around on Garo across the finish line. Maybe a little bit faster if they started in the same group. E10
I know that Brent's been training with his group rides on Zwift on Tuesday night, so he's been putting in some mile, and so is Alex. I think there's a resurgence for all the coaches and athletes to stay fit and stay social. So there's no doubt that they've had the ability to push. Yes, the road vanished, but that's part of that's part of when you're building a road. Sometimes that happens. So,
right.
Someone just made a comment. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that there was no road there. Yeah, magic roads are a neat feature, but of course, it's just like designing anything. It can be a little bit tricky. So that is race number 3, and we've got about 7 minutes or so before we start our last race that starts at 1:45. So 3 races down, 1 to go. How do you think this is shaping up?
You know, when I sort of built the hour, I was thinking, we'll put this hill climb in here. We'll do the sprint, and like honestly, I think what started it off was the Suzuki Formula One track. I didn't realize how many hills were in it, so I think that definitely opened the legs for a lot of the athletes. And this next elimination is going to be quite challenging because it's on the smaller track. So it's the 400-meter oval, and so there'll be less people out. So technically, there should be more laps. So we'll see how people's legs are in this next elimination.
And with that, let's take this moment to switch on over to our final race. For those of you at home who are watching the live stream, don't forget to end your race and join the final race before we get going. Otherwise, you might miss on out. And with that, we'll be back in just a few minutes. And with that, we're back for our final event in this 4-race Omnium here on the Thursday night Hour of Power. My favorite race coming up, the elimination race. A little over 3 minutes ago before we start this week. A little bit different than the last time we were here. Tanya, let us know how the elimination is going to work this time around.
Okay, so we're on a different course. So this course is a little bit shorter, about 100 meters shorter. And so each lap is 400 meters. So when the race starts, there's 3 positioning laps. So they call it positioning laps because it's not really neutral. So it's 3 laps before anyone is eliminated. And once the 3 laps are done, 2 riders will be eliminated every 2 laps. So every 800 meters, 2 laps will be eliminated until there's 3 riders left. And that will be the last lap.
So a little bit shorter than last time. So 2 eliminations every 800 meters. And I believe it will work exactly the same way it did last time, where when it's down to 2 riders, then it'll just be 1 lap there. Is that correct?
Well, the thing that we came across is that we were assuming that because we had 3 riders eliminated each lap because it was longer last time, they only chose 2 riders on the last lap to be eliminated, so they would have 3 for the last lap.
Right. So this time it will likely work out well that way, because they're not going to leave 1 rider, hopefully.
Correct. So that also is, so part of it is watching what the game highlights on the screen. So each athlete, so you'll be able to see who's eliminated and how many laps are left. And so we should know if there's 4 riders left, then only 1 will be eliminated after 2 laps.
All right, well, we'll see how this all plays out. Just a little under 2 minutes to go. Let's head on over to the RGT grounds and check out the lineup for the final race here. Nice group on the road. That's very interesting. If you pay attention, everybody is nodding their heads in unison. It's up and down, almost cult-like. We'll have to talk to the RGT guys and see if we can get them to get the heads to bob a little bit differently. It's a little eerie, but it's still a lot of fun. Let's take a look at a different view here of our riders. A nice little overhead drone view. There we go. And unfortunately, a few people who have joined the race late are in the back row. Some people like starting from the back, though. It gives them a little bit more excitement for an elimination race. But like you said, the first 3 laps are not, as you say, neutral. But what was the term that you used for it?
Positioning laps.
Positioning laps. So much like a real elimination, it's going to be running at 80 or 90% of the actual speed. For those of you who are familiar with watching track racing on the velodrome, elimination race, neutral starts are anything but. Quite often, you find the officials not even starting the race after the 1 lap because it has just exploded and they're waiting for everyone to get back together before they can blow the pistol and start the race. But we've got 30 seconds to go, and it looks like we have our final rider joining us just in the nick of time and doing a quick jersey change there on the screen to make sure that they are ready and looking good for the race. So it looks like we've got, I would say 12, 24, 36, 39 riders on the start line right now, and we're going to be going in about 10 seconds. So let me get my moto ready, zooming in there right now. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. There we go. We got the instructions on the screen. The first 3 laps are positioning laps. Every second lap is an elimination lap. The last 2 riders on elimination laps, and all lap riders will be eliminated. There you have it.
You gotta love the attack off the start. Keep it together, keep it together. We haven't heard that in a while. Here we go. I've been eliminated.
I think that's going to happen to me shortly.
Okay, so we have everybody at the front here. We have Annabelle, we have Annie Scott, Kinnenberg, Colin. Everybody's in one big group.
So that's
going to be a quick one.
That was the call for the final lap. Last positioning lap initiated. Annabelle Thomas
like
working her way
athletes
to the front there. Impressive. Ji Schwinn coming around the outside. On the real track, positioning is super important, and this one, it's just important to go fast. You don't have much of a control over where you are, but I have been lapped and eliminated, everyone. So our two commentators are now out of the race, and that was the sound for the start of live laps. 2 laps to go for our first elimination. Bell lap coming up.
Everyone's together, staying nice and close, saving their energy.
Looks like we lost W. Lemieux.
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe he had some technical difficulties.
Elimination lap. Here we go. 250 meters. An Olympic distance track. 200 meters to go. Not a lot of labels, so we can't tell who's going to be it. But it looks like Chris Reed has his nose in the wind, but falling back a little bit. I think he's safe for this one. There is a rider who is about to get lapped, but just crosses the finish line. So we have an elimination, and it's going to be Watchman and Gonzalez, our first two to hit the showers. And I think we're also going to see one of those might have actually been lapped rider. I'm not sure how the system would have worked right as the finish line was hitting a lapped rider. But we've got 5 riders out right now, well 3 if you don't count us. And we're coming up 100 meters now for the bell. Annabelle Thomas coming in, sitting at first right now. She likes to lead out that bell lap, and it looks like Schnipke coming around. Schwinn following closely. Elimination lap. Here we go. 300 meters. Positioning is key. You can see that USA jersey. So there's Chris Reed trying to come up the front there. It's always good to be in the front in an elimination race. Oh, Brendan coming around the side there. Anyone's game. Ongaro has been eliminated, I'm guessing, from being lapped there. So I think we're going to take one more in 50 meters. Nice big solid group coming to the line here. And the next rider eliminated is Vasilenko. So we're coming up to 30 riders. The next elimination will leave us with 30 riders. We started with 38. We're down to 32 on course right now. Coming up to the bell lap, there's a rider off the front that is about to get past. So I think this is our next casualty of war here. And it looks like they've been lapped. That was Roger Waith, rider from Ontario. Thanks for joining us, Roger. It was good to have you out here. I know we talked a bit earlier today on the Facebook, so it was good to see some riders coming from all over the country and joining us there. So it only took one rider in that group. That was an elimination, was it not?
That was a lapped rider.
Okay.
This is the elimination.
Okay, there we go. Starting to get confusing. It's not like sitting in the center of the track. You can monitor the action from the midfield there. And elimination. It's going to wait for the last rider to cross the line. We'll get the information updated on our results list on the left shortly. Of course, 400 meters. You can see how everybody is spread out on the little diagram up the top there. We may not get that information. There we go. It's B. Topilco. B. Topilco going home in 30th position.
Thanks, Brent, for showing up. Okay, so Bradbury's crossed the line and is eliminated.
That's right.
So they're initiated the elimination lap. I think this is going to be a ride of attrition here. They're at the front, driving it, 4 and 5 watts per kg. It's going to be challenging.
That's for sure. And yeah, it seems like at least half, if not more, of our removals have been due to being lapped, as opposed to being the last one across the line on the elimination lap. So this will certainly be that way, I think, at least until we get down to the top 20 or top 15. And then it's going to be a little bit more pure elimination, where that back wheel is the one that defines whether you're staying in or not. So 250 meters to go for our next elimination. We'll see if that ends up being a lap rider or a true elimination shortly. Here we go, 100 meters to go. Okay. Schnipke, O'Brien, Thomas in the mix. Oh, Young crossed the line. And Merritt.
Yeah, and yeah, so 2 were eliminated that time. Yeah. is the group at the front that's just hammering each other, and I don't know if they're doing themselves any justice, because it is a lot of the lap riders that are just taking the eliminated points at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an interesting thing. You can see this on the track too. When the heads of the race, they sort of know that they can control the pace a little bit more, because the other riders are struggling to stay on, so they don't need to go full gas. But here I think that's sort of just the it's a bit tougher when you're not around everybody, and you got to go and you got to stay hard, and if you even slip up a little bit, sometimes it's a bit hard to get back on. So I think we're going to see that a lot here, where especially with all these mixed categories. A few more riders here. So we got A. Scott and YYC. So it's our Calgary riders. Ugh, that's not good. No, I don't want to leave the app.
Uh-oh.
There you go. All right, we're back,
A little bit
folks.
of surge here. 200 meters to the line. I think there's still a few stragglers out there, so we'll see if there's anyone from this group that gets eliminated.
Here we go, crossing the line now. Nice solid group together. Bolstad, Thomas, Nipke, all riding pretty solid. So
This would be, if I was in that front pack, I would be sitting on a wheel and saving my energy. That's the one good thing about this RGT, is that you can actually feel the benefit of drafting. And if you can see in the algorithm in the top, there's still bodies lined on the track a little bit. So, okay, so they have Brennan and Colling has been eliminated in lap. So we're still not having people from the pack being eliminated yet. So it's great that they're in the pack. Annabelle is on the front, initiating every elimination lap, and so she's keeping herself out of danger. Really good to see. Alex Volsted's moving up. Tara's in the mix. 100 meters to go. People are starting to accelerate right to that finish line. Make sure they're clear and safe.
See a few riders off the front there that are about to get lapped.
Yeah, this is going to get very interesting. People are going to have to watch their screen and understand who and where they are within the pack. The great thing about the app is that they can use their different camera angles, so they can see what's behind them. They can do the drone view.
Two more riders just bit the dust there. Let's take a look at our results screen here. 21st and 22nd place belong to Jay Smith, D. Laurel, respectively. Good job.
And we're coming up to almost 9.5 minutes of racing at 4.5 watts per kilo. I can look over here and see Tara's face. She looks focused, but you can tell it's definitely, you can feel it. I can see that she's feeling it in the legs. So we'll see what happens in the next few laps.
We just lost Yasmin Purdon from Ontario, young rider from Ontario. She made the top 20. That was a good job there, Yasmin. A few more riders just got lapped. Castonguay and Mahecha, unfortunately, were lapped by our leaders and are no longer in the race. So we now have a top 20 on the field. We just saw 2019 and 18 take their positions by being lapped. Coming up to the start line right now, it's an elimination lap. They just got the bell. You can see a few riders sitting on the side there, sort of waiting and watching the rest of the race. They're still on the screen there, but off the side of the course and staying safe, of course. We got Rusinek in fourth position. That's what we're watching right now. B. Moni and a few other riders. I wish they would give us a few more labels. I can't show the rider screen list on the left because the race results are over it, so it doesn't end up looking good. But here we go, coming to the line. Let's take a quick look behind to see what this looks like. And if this is the entire group, there's a rider in red off the back there who's going to be going out. That's Kay Novi. It looks like we are down to the bunch. So now we're down to pure eliminations. I think there may not be too many lap riders leaving the field right now. 16 riders left to go. And we're coming up to our next bell lap. Another rider out. Annabelle Thomas was our second elimination in that field.
She was right in there.
She was.
And that's the way it works. You blink and something happens, the position moves, and you're out. So this active group, the top 14 group, has been active. So we're really going to see some high watts per kg and see what happens and who gets eliminated.
Take an overhead view there. Oh, what a perfect view coming around the corner. Rusinek putting his nose into the wind. And here we go, elimination. Nicole Bradbury was in the back on that one, unfortunate for Nicole. One more rider to come out, probably somebody who wasn't able to latch on. There we go, it's Kay Germain. I only counted 14 when I was counted earlier, so I knew there was a rider or two off the back. Down to 14.
It's interesting. I see Reed Kinnenberg sitting at the back. I'm wondering if he's sort of saving himself, being smart and trying to manage his energy. Whereas I see, a lot of the other riders are sort of, using the throttle, moving up and down, and again, sort of. A lot of that's nervous energy, but a lot of times it is energy that could be used the more laps that these riders turn in this event.
Here we go, coming up to the line. Let's see, who is it going to be? Looks like Volstad might be in the back. It was close. B. Mone. That was a close one.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this list. We got to keep scrolling up. Who's going to go out in... I see they might be going down to 12 riders. They need to have an even number of riders. So there was a lap. Oh, there we go. S. Valencia.
Oh, there we go.
That's what it is. So this will be interesting to see what happens because we are down to 11 riders, and that is an odd number. So...
Just don't get eliminated.
Don't get eliminated. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when it comes down to 3 riders. Are they going to eliminate one on that one and then go for 2, or is it going to be all 3? So the behavior of the software is always interesting to watch.
I'm sure somebody knows out there, but here's the last little sprint before the line.
Whoa, Schwinn. And Mr. Reed is out. There we go. I'll need to move forward to stay with the group there. Tara Witten's still in there. We got the label over her head there. Good job coming around the front. Might be putting her nose in the wind. No, she eased off a little bit, so she is taking your advice and not putting her nose into the wind, getting some of that draft. Very, very smart move with this group, I'm sure.
A little bit of recovery goes a long way. Being tactful of knowing when you can apply the pressure and how long that'll last for. Usually there is a little lull, so people sort of relax a bit, and then this last corner, they start putting on the power.
Lambert out of the saddle, trying to stay up in the front now. This is where it's going to get really serious. There are 9 riders left in this group, and they are all together now, so it is going to certainly come down to that sprint, and it looks like it was Tan and Volstead not making the cut this round.
Tough one.
Yeah, these are all tough ones. Reed Kunnerberg bringing up the back now. 7 riders remain.
Yeah.
Everybody's all together. You can see him on screen right now. Kunnerberg in 6th. Who do we have there in 7th place? As we get the bell lap, that's Tara Witten bringing up the rear now. Not a super dangerous spot because of the way RGT works, but it is certainly good to be in the draft, and if you can launch that attack at the right moment, then you can save yourself. Written Schnipke in the back right now.
I think you should block in that Lambert with his 15 watts per kg.
Lambert out of the saddle. Oh,
Yeah.
and it looks like it's going to be Witten this time around.
Yeah. And Schnipke?
And Schnipke.
Oh, okay.
5 riders left to go. Dufour, Rusinek, Kinnenberg, Lambert. And I didn't quite catch that last rider. Turcotte. Anybody's game now. It's 5 wide across the road. 50 meters to go. We're going to get our bell.
There they go.
Dufour in the front. Rusinek hot on his wheel. Lambert coming around the side. Turcotte around the side. 4 riders across the way. Looks like Kinneberg is sitting off the back, and he's coming around. It's still anybody's game. 250 meters to go. Kinneberg coming around the front. Dufour and Rusinek in the back. Rusinek looks like he might be in trouble on this one. We'll see if he's got that little bit of a power. Lambert just coming out of the saddle, and he's in the front. Turcotte, Dufour coming on the... an inside move. That would have gotten you eliminated in a crit, but it looks like Turcotte and Rusinek are staying in this race. 3 riders to go. Kinneberg, Dufour, and Lambert. Based on what I've seen in the previous laps, the hot money is on Lambert on this one, but Kinneberg is a really, really powerful rider. So this is anybody's game. Medals are on the road right now. Lambert is just deciding, yeah, I've had enough of you guys, and I'm just going to go and do this on my own. And he won the race in 1 lap. So that was it.
Yeah. Awesome. This was fantastic. Always an exciting turn. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to show up. I had riders who tried to log in, and there were some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. But the ones that were here definitely showed their true colors today and the power in their legs.
They did. I was super impressed by all the riding today. Almost felt like it was even a lot more coherent than the last time. I think people are starting to figure out the dynamics and the mechanics of this particular platform. I hope everyone had a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun you can have in an hour in an indoor bike trainer. It certainly beats just staring at your avatar for an hour and mixing it up with people from across the country. It's great to see so many people come in from Ontario, Alberta, BC. Spread the word. Hopefully everybody will start realizing that this is a lot of fun and will join us. We're doing this for 2 more weeks, at least anyways, for the next 2 Thursdays. So if you know anybody who likes track racing, let them know and tell them to come out. And if they just like to watch you, then we're going to be doing a live stream on that. Let's just check in with our folks at home. We had a few people jump in here. Brett Topilko said, thanks, that was a lot of fun. And he's going to go to do an interval class. So a true glutton for punishment, a masochist like all cyclists typically are. Frank Kovac said, go Tara, Rob Stagg, great race, everyone. And Maxime Turcotte says, sorry, the results can't be updated. That is something that we did notice earlier. We were having some issues getting the RGT DB to display, so we're getting some information now that shows that the results aren't showing up. Hopefully that can be rectified and that we can figure out the Omnium scoring coming up. But otherwise, do you have any last thoughts before we conclude our broadcast for today?
Just thank everybody for following us and supporting this. We're really trying to, create some fun around this, and it really is all about, the parents and the supporters being able to watch their kids ride. And it's a little bit different format, but as you know, so the grandparents in Ontario had the popcorn ready at 5:55. So again, we'll be here next week. We'll have the Omnium results updated. We'll get that and we'll work on that in the back. And I'm going to give out 2 gifts, 2 prizes today for 2 of the youngest riders. So we have 2 riders that are 13 years of age, Cole Merritt and William Lemieux. So they both started a race. I'm going to give them 2 prizes, and I'll mail it to them or see them, give it to them where I see them. But that was from Bo Cycle to them, just for showing up and riding with these big guns. It takes a lot of bravery to do that, and it's awesome that everybody did. So thanks everyone for showing up and watching and putting in the effort. Absolutely.
Thanks very much, Tanya. Thanks to all of our sponsors who came out to support this and donate the prizes and get this channel and this racing going. So on behalf of myself, Andrew Paradowski, my co-host Tanya Dubnikov, thanks for coming out, and we'll see you all next week live for some more racing on the Thursday night Hour of Power.